Yo, what is up guys? My name is Zach. Hope you're all having a fantastic day and welcome to the day 169 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, where we talk about everything that went down in the NBA from the previous day. So now without further delay, let's hop right into it. We are less than a week away from the tip-off of the NBA playoffs. Everyone rejoice. This is the best time of the year. And with that in mind, reporters decided to ask Kevin Durant and Draymond Green on their opinions on their first round matchup, which is of course the Portland Trail Blazers, who were swept by the Warriors in the second round of last year's playoffs. Though it wasn't a crushing defeat for Portland, the Blazers actually had the lead for a majority of those games. That being said though, you wouldn't think the Warriors would be too worried about the Blazers. You know, maybe they say something along the lines of,
play a hard, tough game, play the right way and get a win.
But they didn't. Kevin Durant actually had some high praise for the young Warriors, especially Damian Lillard, and he also acknowledges the fact that they are a completely different team, with Jusuf Nurkic in the middle compared to Mason Plumlee. They're a different team. You're adding a guy that can score in the post, that's a load down there on the glass, a great roller to the rim. It's different. When they had Plumlee, they were playing through him up top. To have a guy that can pass but also score in the post, we definitely got our work cut out for us. When you look at Damian Lillard, he's a player that likes playing with a chip on his shoulder, as he thrives under pressure. He came through for them. That's what superstar players do, and that's what he is. Dame has all the respect of Kevin Durant, you know, which is nice to see. Damian Lillard deserves some more respect. And then Draymond Green kind of, you know, like re-emphasized Kevin Durant's comments by saying, they're a different team since the last time we played them. They're playing with a lot more confidence. They're feeling really good about themselves, so we definitely want to check out some of their latest games to see what they're doing as of late. And the Blazers should have some confidence. A lot of confidence, really. Like Katie and Green both said, the Blazers have been a completely different team ever since they implemented Nurkic. They've won 15 of the last 20 games, and that's just a hair under what the Warriors have been able to do, as Golden State has won 16 of their last 20 games. So, you know, this could be a very interesting series. Do I expect Portland to somehow upset Golden State? No. But then again, I'd also be surprised if Portland didn't manage to steal at least a game from the Warriors. And for those of you that are thinking it's going to be an easy sweep for Golden State, I'm just going to have to assume that you haven't seen too many Portland games recently. I mean, if they had Nurkic the entire season, they'd be much higher in the standings than the A seed. I will tell you that right now. But that's going to lead us to the question of the day. How many games do you see this series going? Do you think that the Blazers can give the Warriors a bit of problem? Let me know your answer to the question of the day down in the comment section below. But now let's take a look at what some of you guys said from yesterday's video. Yesterday, after the Cavs blew a 26-point fourth quarter lead, I asked you guys for your opinions on that game because a lot of stuff did go down in that game, whether it being some bad calls or missed calls towards the end of the game that could have affected the outcome of the game. Personally, I am a Cavs fan. I can say it was their fault for blowing a 26-point lead. What happened after that looked like Atlanta wanted revenge for taking Corver. If your team blows a 26-point lead, you deserve to lose that game. I'm a Warriors fan, so I don't like the Cavs, but that was ridiculous. The Cavs, I think, would have won if it wasn't for those terrible refs. Yeah, they gave up a huge lead, but that's no excuse for the refs missing the out-of-bound call and LeBron's timeout call and that terrible foul call. Who cares about blowing the lead? The refs are supposed to do their job. Very mixed feelings on this one. A lot of people saying, you know what, if you blow the 26-point lead, you probably deserve to lose. But then again, people are saying, well, that doesn't mean they deserve to lose, especially if it had something to do with the refs making some terrible or questionable calls down the stretch that could have affected the outcome of the game. Sure, they would have still gotten crap for blowing that lead, but they still would have had the win. And you know, there really is no right person to blame here. The Cavs can blame themselves for blowing the 26-point lead, but then again, if it weren't for some of those calls by the refs, they still probably would have won. But overall, like I said, this is just the result of blowing the 26-point lead in the first place. But that's gonna wrap it up for that portion of the video. Now let's hop into the games from last night. Since they have now clinched the AC, the Blazers decided that it's time for their star players to get a bit of rest before the playoffs. So both Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum set this one out. And with all of the Spurs playing, well, kinda, they didn't play massive minutes or anything. All just play 18, Leonard 20, Parker 20, you get the picture. But still, you would expect the Spurs to get the win. Well, you would be wrong, because without Dame and without CJ, the Blazers still managed to get the 99-98 win. And sometimes the Spurs defense can be a bit too good for its own good. As in the final seconds, they forced the turnover, which would have sealed the deal. But fate had other plans in store because of some weird lucky bounce. The ball just happened to land right into the hands of Noah Vonleh, who was all by himself right at the rim, and he laid it in at the buzzer for the win. Luckily, this win doesn't affect the Spurs whatsoever, because I know if it did, there would be some salty Spurs fans right about now. Anyways, Shabazz Napier delivered the best performance of his career with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, while Kawhi Leonard had 18 points in his 20 minutes. The Heat pretty much can't afford to lose, considering if they do, their chances of making the playoffs would be as good as gone, considering that would mean the Bulls would have to lose both of the remaining games of the season. Heck, even if the Heat win both of their games, it would still take Chicago losing to Brooklyn in their last game of the year to claim that 8th seed. Good news heading into this game for Miami though, as Cleveland decided to rest both Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. However, I don't think Miami ever anticipated that this one would be so hard to get. Yeah, the Heat did win, but it took a fourth quarter comeback on top of an overtime period to get it, 124-121, and that was because of Deron Williams. The guy was playing like he was back in Utah last night. He scored 35 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and dished out 9 assists, while Kevin Love had 25 points and 10 rebounds. Hassan Whiteside and Tyler Johnson were huge driving forces for the Heat last night. Whiteside with 23 points and 18 rebounds, and Tyler Johnson scored 24 off the bench. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry playing together on the court for the first time in a long time last night, and originally Curry was ruled out in this one, but at the last minute he decided that he wanted to put in some work. And he did put in a bit of work, scoring 28 points, including hitting 6 of his 8 3-point attempts, but he was just about the only person hitting shots last night for the Dubs, and the Jazz end up with the 105-99 victory to earn them their 50th win of the year. It also keeps their hopes of getting the home court advantage in the first round against the Clippers alive. George Hill scored 20, Joe Johnson had 19 off the bench, and Rudy Gobert had 17 points and 18 rebounds for Utah. Other than Curry, KD almost had an identical stat line to his first game back with 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Pacers, currently the 7th seed in the East, but not by much, get the much needed 120-111 win over Philly. And this was really to no one's surprise. They've been playing some great basketball ever since they got Lance back. That, and of course Paul George still remaining red hot from the field. He had 27 last night before both he and Gerald Henderson would be ejected from the game for fighting midway through the fourth. Thaddeus Young had 20, and Miles Turner had 18 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks, and Kevin Serafin had 17 off the bench. Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot had 25 for the Sixers. He has low-key been balling out recently. The Bulls have struggled against sub-500 teams this year, but there was no way that they were going to lose this one with their playoff lives on the line. And from the opening tip, the game was over, and the Bulls nearly beat Orlando by 50, 122-75. Every single player that laced up for the Bulls scored last night, led by second-year point guard Jeremy Grant, and had 17 points and 11 assists, while Jimmy Butler also contributed 17. Nikola Vucevic had 14 points and 10 rebounds for the Magic. Did the Clippers just out-rocket the Rockets? I mean, scoring was supposed to be Houston's area of expertise, right? Well, that wasn't the case last night, as it was the Clippers who outscored the Rockets 125-96 to hold on to the 4th seed in the West over the Jazz. Chris Paul, efficient as always with 19 points, 9 assists, and 0 turnovers, while Blake Griffin had 18 points and 8 rebounds. Whereas for Houston, they were without Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, Clint Capella, and Nene Hilario in this one. James Harden had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Well, now that they've been eliminated, they must figure that there's no sense in letting their best players continue to play, and maybe even play them out of a better lottery pick. And man, the Hornets without Kemba Walker are really, how can I put this, offensively challenged. And they fall to Milwaukee 89-79. Tony Snell and Greg Monroe both led Milwaukee with 16 apiece, while Michael Kidd-Gilchrist had 13 for the Hornets. Well, you know what, Charlotte? You can't out-lose the Pistons. Actually, maybe they have so far this year, never mind. But still, anything the Hornets can do, the Pistons can do better. As the Pistons played their last game ever at the Palace of Auburn Hills last night, and it resulted in a loss to the John Wall-less, Otto Porter Jr.-less Washington Wizards. 105-101 was the final score, with Bradley Beal taking a majority of the workload for Washington, scoring 33 points, while Tobias Harris had 22 off the bench for Detroit. The Celtics are now on the verge of securing the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, since they are now one full game up on Cleveland with 1 game left to go in the season. And they put themselves in this position by battling it out with the streaking Brooklyn Nets to get the 114-105 win. And say it with me, everybody. Isaiah Thomas led the Celtics once again in scoring with 27, while Al Horford had 19 and actually grabbed in a decent amount of rebounds as well. He had 8. Brook and Lynn played well for the Nets though. Brook with 25 and Lynn had 26 points and 12 assists. And that about wraps up all the action for the day 169 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. And now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, you guys selected none other than Russell Westbrook himself and his 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists, his 42nd triple-double of the year. And here are today's nominees. You have Shabazz Napier and his 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Hassan Whiteside and his 23 points and 18 rebounds. Paul George and his 27 points and 5 assists. Bradley Beal and his 33 points. Rudy Gobert and his 17 points and 18 rebounds. Chris Paul and his 19 points, 9 assists, and 0 turnovers. Or Isaiah Thomas and his 27 points. You guys, as always, can go vote for the player of the day right now by following the straw poll link down in the description box below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team STC, and I'm out of here. Peace!